this broken fingernail? Oh, no, 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 Hey, beautiful magic. We are here. Let me put this banner up because I finally got my Cash App working again. And let me see. Okay. So it is $. Okay. Wait. Hey, fix it. Okay. Alrighty. So we're gonna get started. People can come in when they come in. I saw a video earlier today of a pastor who is actually mad at his congregation because they didn't buy him an expensive watch. It's what it sounds like he wanted was a watch. And he's kind of salty that they're not giving up their money. So he took to the pulpit to basically go in on his congregation. And the funny thing to me is that people are in the background as he's talking crazy to his parishioners, or the people in his church, as he's talking crazy to them, asking them, is he not worthy for their money, their McDonald's money, their Louis Vuitton money, their Prada money, their Gucci, like, I don't deserve Gucci, I don't deserve Louis Vuitton. No, sir, obviously you don't. If your church is not buying it for you, if your people are not giving it to you, then you you obviously don't. Because I remember growing up, my pastor had, he had a modest house. It wasn't a huge house in the hills. It was a modest house. Now, the church did buy him a Cadillac. They did get him a new car for like one of his anniversaries or something. I remember the church did buy him a car, and he was really thankful. He had a car, but the church bought him a new car. But he wasn't flashy. He wasn't boastful. He wasn't in the pulpit making it seem like the church has to do certain things for him. I think the house that he lived in, the church owned, because the church that I went to had, when I was young, they had really good financial advisors. And you know, back in the 70s, property wasn't as expensive as it is now. So, you know, our pastor lived in a just regular neighborhood. Now, the pastor that has the same church, the church that I grew up in as a child, he is living in the hills, you know, and he expects that tailored suit, you know, $2,000 tailored suits, monogram shirts, the whole thing. You know, he expects that from the people that go to the church, even though the church has, the membership for churches has really diminished since like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, especially here in California. Like, you know, maybe in the Bible Belt down south where, you know, churches are still, you know, big and people are, but out here, these younger people, these millennials, and these Gen Xers, Gen Zers, and all the gens, they not going to church like that. They not give, they, you know, they working, they're trying to survive. So they not going to be giving somebody else their money and then allowing you to talk shit to them on top of it. They just not doing that. You know, back in the day, the church fund or raising money for this and do, we were all in. We were all in. My mother was one of the people. Hey, Tina. My mother was one of the people that baked the cakes. She was the cake lady. She baked the pound cakes. She worked in the kitchen. You know, she did all of that. Everybody, hey, Demona, she did all of that stuff. The church was really a place, you know, that the church is my foundation. The church is where I met my husband. We went to the same church as kids. You know, we sang in a choir together. We were on the usher board together. We were junior ushers. We let's see, what else did we do? We sang in a choir. We were ushers. I was in the young girls uh, missionary society. My husband was in the group called the Junior Laymen's, which was kind of preparing the young men to be deacons. And the part that I was in was kind of preparing us, the younger girls, to, you know, be deaconesses, to, you know, learn how to serve in the church, and, you know, the roles that the women played in the church. Like, I was in that group. He was in the junior layman. We went to Sunday school together. All of those things. That's where we met. So both of us have a very serious um Christian foundation. Now, neither one of us are, oosh, neither one of us, oh no, I didn't know they found Teddy Ray's body in a swimming pool. So if y'all don't know, there's a young comedian who um was kind of with the all deaf group. The all deaf is like, I guess, who Kevin on Stage came out of. Like, they all work together. But one of the young comedians, Teddy Ray, passed away, I think Friday, and he was only 32 years old. And now they are reporting that his body was discovered in a swimming pool. Because I noticed when they said he had passed away, they weren't saying cause of death. They weren't saying anything about the cause of death. And anytime they don't say anything about the cause of death and it's somebody really young like that, you automatically think something happened. Because if it was like a car accident, or, and you knew the person hadn't been sick, because he has a big social media presence. So you knew he hadn't been sick, so it wasn't a sickness. So then when they don't say cause of death, you automatically start thinking about it had to be something. I'm looking for this video so y'all can listen to what this pastor, did she take it off of her so y'all can listen to what this pastor said to his people. I'm just like, these pastors just be out here saying anything. Okay, I don't see it on her page. Let me look on my TikTok, because I know I had just looked it up. Okay, listen to this. And if you want to see it on TikTok, just type in Kansas City pastor goes off. So listen to this.
I'm not worth your Red Lobster money. I ain't worth your St. John knit. Y'all can't afford it no how. I ain't worth y'all Louis Vuitton. I ain't worth your Prada. I'm not worth your Gucci. Mother, I'm saying this, and I promise you, Deacon Ian, it's not with respect of want. I'm saying it because I want you to understand just what God is saying. I even found out that Movado, you can buy a Movado watch in Sam's. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And y'all know I asked for one last year. Here it is the whole way in August. I still ain't got it. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Let me kick down the door and talk to my cheap sons and daughters. See, that's how I know you still poor, broke, busted, and disgusted, because of how you've been honoring me.
He called his congregation poor, broke, busted, and disgusted. The pastor. So he said he basically asked them for this Movado watch last year, and they didn't get it for him. So I guess he's salty. He didn't get the watch last year, and he didn't get it this year. And he said they could have went to Sam's Club and bought the watch. Let me see how much this Movado watch costs. Well, they have them at Macy's. Why don't Macy's have a price? $200. Come on, bruh. $400. Pastor, you can go buy you a $200 watch. I'm pretty sure he making $200 a Sunday. He couldn't go get him a $400. He couldn't go get him a watch. Like, he really out here mad at these people. He out here mad at his whole church because they wouldn't buy him a watch. No, they $500. Okay. The Movado. Okay. $800. $500. The men's sport is $500. The men's bowl sport, $500. The men's gold, $800. You can go buy you a watch. I'm pretty sure $600. So between, we gonna say that the highest price one is $1,000. Because I do see some in the $900 range. So it's not like you buying, what's that other high price watch? Rolex. It's not like you asking for Rolex. Because you know that's a good 20, 30, 40,000. You in a 900 price range. You couldn't get that, Pastor? Pastor, you couldn't get that for yourself? You legit out here mad at your parishioners because they won't buy you a $900 or $1,000 watch? See, that's the problem with a lot of these younger pastors. They want to be out here flexing with some of these older pastors who have established churches, who have members in their churches who have money. If you just a little pastor with a little shotgun church, your members ain't gonna be buying you $1,000 watches because they don't have it. If you have a church where the majority of your members are catching the bus to Sunday service, you're not getting no $1,000 watch on your anniversary. That's not gonna happen for you. I've been to churches where, for the pastor's anniversary, they get trips to, the church has come together and given the pastor and his wife a trip to Bahamas or a trip to Hawaii, all expenses paid, hotel, car rental, and cash, spending money. Put this in your pocket. Even though we didn't already pay for everything, put this in your pocket to buy you some souvenirs and stuff. But you got a little shotgun church. You got 20, 30 members. They're not going to buy you a $1,000 watch. Because they don't have it like that. Yeah, but no, some people, they're catching the bus because they don't have a car. They may not have a car. And they catching the bus to church. Everybody don't, especially like in New York. A lot of people in New York, everybody in New York don't own a car. A lot of people in New York don't have cars. It really depends on where you live. Like if you live in an area that the transportation is really good, you don't have to have a car. Because out here, like certain buses run out here until 11. I think my husband said the last bus comes in at like 11:30. And BART, I think, runs until 1 a.m. So public transportation in California in certain areas here in the Bay Area, runs until a pretty decent hour. So everybody don't have a car. Some people don't want that. They don't want to deal with the maintenance of a car, the upkeep, the insurance, and all of that kind of stuff. They would rather take public transportation. It's cheaper. But if you belong to a church and you only got like 20 members, and the majority of them are on a fixed income, or they're young people that, don't really have jobs where they're getting paid a lot of money, you're not going to be walking around in no fitted suit, no Gucci suit, no monogram. Because I remember going to this one, I used to belong to this one church, and the pastor started to turn me off because he started to say stuff like, oh, I'm not going to wear a shirt if it's not monogrammed. If my initials are not monogrammed in the cuff and like on the collar or something, Like he would take all of his dress shirts. He had a specific place he would take them and have them monogrammed. Well, one time, and he bragged so much about all of these, designer suits and all of this kind of stuff. So one time he had all his clothes were in his car because he was taking them to the cleaners. Like a lot of his expensive suits and like all of these monogrammed shirts were in his car, and someone busted the window of the Mercedes and stole all that stuff. All of his monogram shirts, all of his very expensive suits that had been tailored to fit him ever so nicely were stolen. Because you get up in the pulpit and you brag about what you have. And just like you have it today, God can take it away from you tomorrow. And he did. And he had to basically start all over again. I left the church because of his stance on women preaching. He had that mentality that women were not called to preach. If he didn't call me, he ain't called you. I can say the same exact thing about you. If he didn't call me, he didn't call your ass either. Because the same person that made you made me in his image. So we started having words, because I'm very verbal. I'm a very verbal person, and one thing I can't stand is a misogynist. And that's basically what he was. And I'm here. I was put here to tell you about yourself. And he didn't like that at all. So I eventually left. Because I'm not going to sit up under a misogynist. For one thing, I don't have to. I'm not going to deal with a misogynist. Because you're no better. This whole, women, even with God, women were an afterthought. You were created separately. Basically, you were created to serve me. There are men out there who really buy into that bullshit. And when I hear it, I just, you can't do it. Yeah, I'm not paying for your monogram shirts. Are you crazy? And then he was the type of pastor that wanted the women of the church to come to his house. Now, he was so cheap. He didn't want to pay for a cleaning service. He wanted the women of the church to clean the church and come up to his house. He had a few women, and then we'll put this on real thick. I'm asking you this because I trust you. I know that you have a good heart, and you're not going to steal anything, but it's a few women that I want to come up to my house and clean my house. I will slap the shit out of you. I ain't no maid. Are you crazy? You better hire you a Molly maid to come up to the house and clean your house. I wouldn't clean your house. For free? For free? Just for a shout out on Sunday? And there were some women who were legit stupid enough to do that. And the only thing they got was a shout out on Sunday. I want to thank Sister So and so for coming by my house and cleaning my house. A shout out? Yeah, he was a mess. He really was. And I be seeing him on Facebook every now and then. I will go to his Facebook page to see who is still holding on at the church. And it's maybe one or two. It's maybe one or two people still holding on. And you doing all of this and you can't even preach. Like your preaching is not even all that. To me, the generation of these young ministers that are coming up now, the majority of them can't preach. They can't preach. I like them old ministers that's got a hoop, that can really command your attention in a pulpit. You got to be able to do something. You got to be able to sing. You got to have a hoop. You got to know them old songs. Every now and then you got to pull up one of them. You got to you got to get it started. You got to get the spirit stirred up. And if you ain't got no spirit, you can't do that. Girl, clean his house. Come up to his house and clean his house. Now he got me and a couple of the other ladies. We were nice enough to come and clean the church. Because, of course, this is a church that you belong to. You want the church to, to look presentable. Because at the time, there was no first lady. Like, he wasn't married. And I think a lot of the other women did that because, how some women are. They want, the pastor is single. So this is my way of shooting my shot. They would, be cooking for him. Like some of the women that went over to the house to clean would cook. They was bringing past the food and stuff until he had to shut that down because people were just showing up, all cute and shit with food. Like he had to legit get in the pulpit and tell people, don't show up at my house. Like, it's nice that you ladies want to cook for me and stuff, but don't just show up at my house. And I know if you showing up at my house in a dress and this and that, it's not about the dish. Because if it was just about the dish, you would just call me and be like, hey, Pastor, I dropped so-and-so off at your door. Go get it. Instead of ringing the doorbell, standing there. Hey, Pastor. Hey. Doing all that stuff. No, girl. You trying to hit on the pastor. And I think that was part of his problem, too, is I'm not hitting on your old funny looking ass. I didn't find him attractive. At all. Not like that. Not attractive enough for me to come to your house and clean up your house. Clean up your house? And one person I know that went up there, she was like, girl, the house was a complete disaster. It was clothes everywhere. It was just, like he was legit a bachelor. Like food containers, pizza boxes. The kitchen was a mess. The dog didn't shit it everywhere in the yard. Just crazy. I'll be like, oh, hell no. For one, I could never be attracted to a man that don't take care of his own stuff. You can't do nothing? You can't even pick your clothes up? But that's the mentality of a lot of these pastors. And this wasn't a young pastor. Like he has to be, he has to be in his 60s now. So that was over, it's been probably 10 years because this was before me and my husband were together. So he had to have been in his 50s then. But yeah, he was a mess. I quickly um got out of that church. Hey Mike, those old school preachers who used to sweat. Look, yeah, you gotta put in some work. You gotta earn that check. That's how I feel. Earn that money. You gotta put in some work. You can't be up there so cute in your Gucci suit. You don't want to you don't want to sweat out that Gucci suit. You don't want to do that. Like, I know pastors that sweat so, preach so hard that they would have to go in, like, they would bring a suit to church, wear a suit, and bring a suit. Because when they got finished preaching, they were soaked. So they would have to go in the back and change. Like my old pastor, he used to have to do that all the time. Like, he had a shower in his office and everything. He would have to change his clothes because he would preach down. Okay? He would preach. These youngsters ain't doing that. They too cute for all that. They too manicured. They not gonna get their Gucci suit wet because it's sweat. Because after church, they want to go out to brunch anyway. After church, they going to the hookah lounge. They can't go to the hookah lounge musty. These pastors can't preach. Yeah, a lot of women, especially if you're at a church and the pastor is single, they know it ain't no first lady. A lot of women want to be a first lady. Growing up, I at one point I went through a phase where I wanted to be a first lady of the church. I felt like, okay, I'm legit first lady material because I felt like I grew up in the church. I had been in the church all my life. Okay. I felt like I had, like I was groomed, church groomed. I felt like I would have made a really good first lady to a young minister, and we get our own church, and I would have really put everything I had into it had that happened. And that is the dream of a lot of women. Like, yeah, you want you if you enter the church, you want the pastor. If he's single and he attractive, I want him. Yeah, they're not doing anything for the community. They're not doing nothing. They're not even into the community at all. Like, I didn't see any churches this year doing like backpack drives or nothing for the start of school. I didn't see none of that. Now, I'm not saying it didn't happen. Hey, KK, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I didn't see none of it. Now, we would have some like community activities because this particular pastor, I think him and the mayor, Like he knew the mayor. He was one of those people that wanted to seem important even though he really wasn't. Like the church was super small. Like it was probably like 30 people, and 15 of the 30 was his family. Like legit his mama, his 4 kids, cousins, somebody. Half of the church he was related to. And the other half was just like regular people. So it wasn't like he had a really big congregation. And that's what a lot of these young pastors need to realize. If you don't have a large congregation, you're not going to be taking in money like that. People are not give people. We going through a recession right now. Ain't nobody about to buy you $1,000 watch, bruh. Ain't nobody gonna do that. People trying to figure out if they gonna have enough money to pay their rent, or a lot of people's rent is going up, rent is increasing, gas is high. And you really think people out here gonna buy you $1,000 watch? Like you legit get in the pulpit and tell your church members that they are broke, busted, and disgusted because they won't buy you a watch? Because they won't buy you a watch? You don't have a credit card? You couldn't put that watch on your credit card? The church didn't give you a credit card? Usually the church gives the pastor a credit card that they take care of. You couldn't put that watch on that credit card, that church credit card? Because they ain't buying him that watch. They didn't buy it last year. Obviously, he brought the watch up last year also. They didn't get it last year. And they didn't get it this year either. You ain't getting that watch. You're not going to get that watch. And now that he done got up and called them broke and disgusted and all, all this, you really ain't going to get it now. You may have gotten it. They may have raised the offering. People may have been generous. And, you got your little offering and you got your... But you're not going to get it now because you didn't talk shit about the people that belong to your church. You ain't going to get it now at all. You're just not going to get... You're not going to get that watch. They do. They get into ministry because they think that it's fast money. But ministry is not like it used to be because people are not going to church like they used to. People are not giving their money like they used to. All of them people that was giving money, like our parents and grandparents, them people gone. They dead. They gone. And these millennials and Gen Xers and Gen Zers and all of these folks, they ain't giving money out like that. They not giving away their money. They too busy trying to wear Gucci and Air Forces and stuff for themselves. They not buying that stuff for nobody else. I'm trying to get the new Jordans for myself. I'm not about to buy my pastor no Jordans. He better get him a woman and be out here with these women like I'm doing. These young folks ain't giving up their money like that. They too busy trying to drive Mercedes and G-Wagon and a Tesla and all this kind of stuff. They too busy trying to go to the hookah lounge and to brunches and to Vegas and to all these. They not giving you no money. They not giving away their money like that. And now he up in the pulpit mad. I mean, he mad. He mad. Honey, he was mad enough to get up in the pulpit and call the people that pay his salary broke, and disgusted. Let's play it again.
I'm not worth your McDonald's money. Come on. Come on. I'm not worth your Red Lobster money. I ain't worth your St. John knit. Y'all can't afford it no how. I ain't worth y'all Louis Vuitton. I ain't worth your Prada. I'm not worth your Gucci. Mother, I'm saying this, and I promise you, Deacon, it is not with respect of want. I'm saying it because I want you to understand just what God is saying. I even found out that Movado, you can buy a Movado watch in Sam's.
But you ain't getting one.
And y'all know I asked for one last year. Here it is the whole way in August. I still ain't got it. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Let me kick down the door and talk to my cheap sons and daughters. See, that's how I know you still poor, broke, busted, and disgusted, because of how you've been honoring me.
And it's the person screaming, yes.
I'm not worth your McDonald's money.
It's the person screaming, come
I'm not worth
on.
your Red Lobster money. I ain't worth your St. John knit. Y'all can't afford it no how. I ain't worth y'all Louis Vuitton. I ain't worth your...
That must be his mama screaming, come on.
I'm not worth your Gucci. Mother, I'm saying this, and I promise you,
that must be his mama.
I'm saying it because I want you to understand just what God is saying. I even found out that Movado, you can buy a Movado watch in Sam's.
Then if he know where to watch at, he know it's at Sam's. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it yourself. Because God ain't told you that. You standing in the pulpit lying on God. You young. Go get your watch. Why are you expecting people to do something for you that you can do for yourself? If they got it at Sam's Club, go get it. You know where it's at. But he said, I told y'all to buy me this watch last year. And you didn't get it. And now, here we are in August, and I still don't have the watch. Well, sir, that should tell you that you're not getting that watch. You're not going to get it. They're not getting you that watch. You're not going to get that watch, sir. You're not. And they probably, the people that's not buying the watch are probably sitting there saying, you're not getting that watch. I don't care how hard you preach or how much shit you talk. You're not going to get that watch. You're not going to get it. You're not getting it. You haven't got it, and you're not going to get it. You ain't getting it. Girl, he got it on his Amazon wish list. It's been sitting in his cart for a whole year. You might as well go on and make that purchase. Because I had some stuff sitting in my Amazon cart. And it was only like $30. It was like $32. I'm like, why is this shit just sitting here? Girl, if you don't go on and order this mess. It was like $32 worth of stuff. And I had it sitting in my Amazon cart like it was like $1,000. I was like, girl, if you don't have them people sending this stuff on to the house. So, sir, start low. You want the Movado watch? Get the cheapest one they have and build your way up. You can have that watch. But you gonna have to go to Sam's Club and pay for it. Because your church ain't going to pay for it. They're not going to buy you that watch. You're not getting that watch. You're not going to get it from them. He wants it to be a gift. You better love on some woman. You better tell some woman that you love her. You better whisper in her ear, baby, I love you. You the best thing. You know, the Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and you a good thing to me. You better do like Solomon. You better speak it. And then your little girlfriend, she'll buy it for you. Cause you know all it takes for some women is for the man to be soft tongued. That's all he gotta be soft tongued, honey. If he can speak a word. If you can speak a word and tickle my ear, make my ear feel good, I buy you the watch. I show which one you want. I will buy it for you. See, you got to hone in. You got to use them skills that God gave you. You got to let that tongue be smooth and whisper in somebody's ear. You'll get that watch. I mean, cause he's not a bad looking brother. He got the wrong approach. You can't come in hard calling the people broke and busted and disgusted. No, you got to butter them up. You got to tell your congregation that this is the best church I've ever been with. The women here can cook. All the women I got a church full of fine women. They gonna be like, what? Pastor here saying we cute? Then he gonna be like my pastor. Shoot, my pastor was coming home to pot roasts and stews and soups and steaks and everything else. He didn't have to cook. And then the crazy thing was, me and my friend, we was on the end with this pastor, like for whatever reason. Well, for one, she was one of the ones that would go to his house and clean up. I was just a friend. So, he talked really candid around us and would tell us like which women was doing what and who he liked, who could cook and who couldn't. He would have us cock blocking, okay. So after church, y'all come in the office and pretend like you have a problem and, we praying to keep some of these women that after church want to come and hang out. Oh, yes, we were there. We were there. I knew all the women that liked him. He told us all the women that could cook, couldn't cook, how they would show up at his house and all of this stuff. All of it. But with some of them, he did play the game. For the women that could cook and was bringing the pot roast and the tomahawk steak and all that stuff over to the house, yeah, he was playing the game with them. But the ones that he didn't like cook, they didn't have to give what some of the other women, yeah, he wanted to get rid of them. That's the game these men be playing. Like, seriously. And eventually, that started to get on my nerves, and I just stopped going to the church because I saw he was just playing with people. Playing with their feelings. Because if you a legit pastor, you would have just cut all that shit out. Don't come up to my house. Don't call me. If I want someone to cook for me, I'll hire a chef or whatever. I don't need all y'all women coming up to my house, bringing food and, doing all that kind of stuff. What is Boston butt, girl? Is that some type of meat? What is a Boston butt? Now, I've definitely never heard of that. Yeah, it's the line on God. You lying. Because God ain't never said nothing about almost cuss your people out for a watch. God ain't told you shit about no watch. Because God don't even care about time. But my thing is, If you know what a watch is, go get it. Go get it. Go buy it. You been wanting it for over a year. A year's time, he could have paid for the watch. He could have put some money aside every Sunday. He could have paid for that watch. When they didn't get it for you last year, you should have been like, they're not gonna give me this watch. If I want it, I gotta pay for it. But then too, this is because other ministers are telling him what his members are doing for them. Because they all sit around and talk. Yeah, my church just bought me a Mercedes. Or my church paying my rent. Or my church just bought me diamond cufflinks. And his church ain't buying him shit. And he's salty. Like he mad. To get up in front of the congregation and go in, he big mad. Because his church ain't buying him nothing. They ain't getting him nothing. I ain't worth your Louis Vuitton. No, you're not. You're not worth my McDonald's money. No. I'm going to drink my sweet tea. I'm not buying you McDonald's. I'm not taking you to In-N-Out. So I most definitely is not buying you no Gucci. If he preached like he was supposed to, pastor's appreciation would have been lit. He wouldn't have even had to beg for that watch. Somebody in the congregation would have bought him that watch. If he was like legit out here preaching the word and doing what he was supposed to be doing, somebody would have got him that watch and more. Because trust me, I have seen it happen. I have seen it. Look, I went on a first date. Craziest first date ever. I went on a first date with this guy. And he was a musician. And so he had played at his church, but his friend had invited him to service later that evening. First date, me and the dude. And he invited me. So I was like, all right, I was driving. I was like, okay, well, tell me what the church is, and I'll meet you up there. So we get there. It's a nice size congregation. Pastor young. Pastor's wife, I think I went to high school or something with her because I knew her. I was in my 30s then. But I knew her. So the pastor, little dude, little, like 5'7", maybe 140, just little, slim, lean, little dude. And when I tell you he was lit, he preached, he crip walked. Do you hear me? He was lit. The church was lit. The musicians was lit. But wait a minute. The person that I went on the date with caught the Holy Ghost. He caught the Holy Ghost. And, I couldn't tell if this was a Church of God in Christ. I don't know. But, they were speaking in tongues. They were shouting, the Church of God in Christ dance that they be doing. The dude that I was on the date with jumped up and went into full dance mode. I mean, getting it. Do you hear me? Getting it, bucking, you know, first date. I don't know what the hell to do. I'm just sitting there because I'm not going to help you. I don't even know you like that. We had just been talking on the phone. So I'm just sitting there. And I'm not shouting on a first date. Would never shout on a first date. No. But honey, when I tell you that this little pastor was literally crip walking across the pulpit, but when he jumped out the pulpit, jumped. And he must do this on a regular basis because the deacons, it was like they got into position where if he had slipped or something, they was going to be there to catch him. Because he was little. Had he jumped, one of the deacons could have grabbed him and, grabbed him and hold him. Jumped out the pulpit and started crip walking all. That was when the whole church just went up. And I'm sitting there like, I don't believe that I'm in the middle of this shit. Like these people in the person. I didn't know if the dude, I didn't know if he was gonna be okay. I didn't know if he was gonna fall out. But he finally calmed down. And, sat back down. But if I don't know you like that, I don't know what to do with you. It's like, should I fan you? Should I go get you some water? Do you do this all the time? And so I was like, after everything was over, he like walked me to my car and, oh yeah, it was really nice. Like the service was actually nice, even with the pastor being uh extremely animated. He put on a good show. And he could sing. The pastor could actually sing. He had a very nice singing voice, but you could tell, he was one of those young pastors that like to put on a good show, and he really did. But anyway, back to the date. After everything was over and, he walked me to my car and we went home. He called me later on and he was like, oh, like, I didn't know that was going to happen. And I was like, neither did I. And he was like, were you embarrassed? I was like, I wasn't embarrassed because I wasn't the one shouting. But I wasn't going to try to help you. I was just hoping that you didn't like hit the floor. And because people saw us sitting together or saw us together thinking that I'm going to be the one to help you get up off the floor, because I wasn't. I don't know you well enough to help you get up off the floor. And I don't think the first date is a good place for you to shout and legit fall out in church. I just don't. Not on the first date. Do that after you get to know somebody. I don't. First date? First date. I'm not shouting on the first date. Like, it's got to legit, like, the spirit got to hit me hard as hell for me to shout on the first date. Hold on, let me turn this fan on. I'm getting hot. Like, the spirit really got to hit me super hard for me to shout on the first date. And he was shouting. It wasn't just like a little, like he was shouting and speaking in tongues and you know, almost foaming at the. It was a lot. It was a lot for me. And then my like gaydar went off. I was like, is he okay? Because he was doing a lot for a man. You know, most men, most men don't let loose like that. But he let loose. I mean, he let loose. And he was basically like, yeah, you know, we shout like that at my church. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't see too many men doing all that. Yeah, that's Miss Hattie's job to come and fan and with the smelling salt and all of that. That's not my job because I was cute. I had on a dress and had my hair. That was when I had my used to wear my braids all the time, my little human hair braids. And you're not gonna pull my hair. You're not gonna shout and you caught up in the Holy Spirit and you pull my hair. I don't know what you're capable of doing when the Holy Spirit is on you because I don't know you. So, honey, I just let him shout till he got tired. When he got tired, he stopped and sat his ass down. I was just grateful that I had drove my own car. And I was saying to myself, okay, I would never go to church with you again. And I didn't. I did not. And I don't have anything against men shouting. I just don't believe that the first date is a good place for you to shout. I just don't think I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think that's good first date etiquette. I don't think you should go on a date and shout on your first date. I'm gonna ask my husband about that when he get home. Maybe we can talk about it tomorrow. What was his worst um first date? But yeah, I've had some. That was like that one went down in the history books because. But the little pastor was very very animated. He was very animated, and you could tell he knew the word. Because he preached. He preached. I don't think he was legit from California because he didn't have that. He had a more southern style of preaching, even though he was young. I just don't believe. I don't think he was born and raised here. You can tell preachers that come from like different areas. You know how them out of town preachers would always come to your church and show out for like revival and stuff. He had that type of feel, and it was his church. He had a nice, and he had like a decent membership. I wonder the is he still pastoring that church? I've had some interesting church experiences. Very interesting. And that was one of them. So, this pastor, I don't know. This young man is upset. I don't think he's ever going to get that watch. Sucks to be him. Because before talking all of that mess, he could have just went and bought the watch himself and then came back and been like, I ain't got to wait on nobody because the Lord provides for me. That should have been his testimony. Instead of y'all broke bastards wanting you to buy me a watch. How you get mad at your own church people? The geese out. How you get mad at your own people? Is that I think that's the only thing that really that I saw in the news that was somewhat interesting, because of course that has went viral. It was on the Shade Room and a lot of the other, outlets are picking it up. I still have not figured out what I want to do for my birthday yet, but we probably will um go out to dinner, because at first I was saying I'm not going out to dinner because I'm not about to get off my diet. I'm doing it. No, I'm going to dinner. Now, I'm not going to act a fool, but I'm going to go to dinner and have a nice time. Because yesterday I acted stupid and ate some Taco Bell, and that Taco Bell got in my belly and acted a fool. And let me tell you this, after you have cleaned out your system, because I hadn't had a soda in 2 weeks. And yesterday I had a Baja Blast. And it blasted my ass. Do you hear me? It was it just tastes like syrup. I had to literally add water to it in order to drink it. And I think all of that sugar just revved me up so much that I had a hard time sleeping last night. Because I guess my body is just, not trying to process all of that sugar anymore. Okay, Demona, see you later, sweetie. My body is not trying to process all of that sugar. Honey, I was up until 4 o'clock this morning. So I definitely won't be doing that anymore. Yeah, it didn't give me a headache. It just it didn't make my stomach hurt. But I just had so much gas. Just full of gas. Just everywhere. So that's it for Taco Bell. But when you have been eating clean, like I've been eating super duper clean, no fast food. I hadn't had fast food in 2 weeks. I hadn't had a soda in 2 weeks. The last time we ate out was when my granddaughter was here and we went to Mel's Diner. But even at Mel's Diner, all I had was some soup. And if y'all have a Mel's Diner in your area, the chicken noodle soup and the honey cornbread, I thought that was a weird combination, because I ain't never been to a restaurant and they give you cornbread with soup. But honey, they give you this big old hunk of cornbread and a bowl of soup. And it was so good. That was what I had. Now, they had breakfast stuff. I had that soup and that big old hunk of cornbread. It was so good. So that was like the last time we had eaten out. We had been, making salads and grilled chicken and grilled shrimp and fish and stuff like that. Like we had been eating at home every day. And so we went shopping, and I was like, okay, I know when we get home, I'm not going to want to cook. So let's just go to Taco Bell, get a couple of tacos, keep it light. Even though I kept it light, that Taco Bell still didn't agree with my stomach. So I ain't doing Taco Bell no more. I'm not doing no more fast food though. For my birthday, we probably will go to like a nice steakhouse or we were looking. There's a Brazilian steakhouse in San Francisco that um is kind of like at the top of the list. And if we don't go there, there's this place I want to try, Ruth Chris. It's a steakhouse, a nice steakhouse also. So we got to figure it out though, because I do want to get a reservation. So that's it. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do something. And I'm praying the dress that I want to wear for my birthday. I got earlier this year from Shein, and I'm just praying. I ain't trying. I haven't tried it back on again, but I'm like, this dress better fit, and it better look cute. I'm like legit scared to try the dress on, but I'm gonna have to try it on. But you know what? I'm wearing that dress because I bought it for, yeah. We and I haven't been to. Let me see. Where is Ruth Chris? I think it's in Walnut Creek. Let me see. Oh, it is. It's in Walnut Creek. Okay, so it must not be too far from Fleming's. They have a Fleming's and a Ruth Chris like next to each other because they're both like the about the same tier steakhouse. But I think Ruth Chris is a little bit more expensive. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look at their menu. Oh, you know when you go to a restaurant and the menu don't have no prices, you know it's expensive. But yeah, they have that tomahawk ribeye also. Well, I think the oh is the price is so small. It's in damn near in fine print. The tomahawk ribeye is 139, $139. The bone in New York strip is 68. The bone in filet mignon is 72. I think Ruth Chris is a little bit more expensive than Fleming's. So the porterhouse steak for two is 109. And the last time we went out to dinner, I had steak left over the next day because the steak was so big. So, gosh, this place was established in 1963. This is the older steakhouse. So we may go there because I really don't want to go to San Francisco. I don't know. My husband kind of wants to go to the city because my son recommended this Brazilian steakhouse, but it's in San Francisco. I really don't want to go to the city. I'm not, I don't know. I'm not really into going to the city like that. I would rather um, go somewhere more local, but we may. But wherever we go, I'm gonna take pictures, y'all. My new wig was supposed to come today and it didn't make it. So I'm hoping that it comes tomorrow. And I think I ordered this wig, just, the same color and everything, because I really like this style on me. It'll just be new. But I mean, if it doesn't come, I do have some other wigs that I can wear. But I'm gonna try to do my lashes. I'm gonna do my makeup. I'm gonna try to be cute because it's my birthday. It's my birthday. And if y'all want to give me something for my birthday, use my Cash App. Don't use the PayPal, whatever that thing is for YouTube, because YouTube takes 40% of that, which really sucks. So if you want to do something for my birthday, use my Cash App, and then that way I will get everything. Tina, let me know when you're doing something fun at night. So if you have a panel, I can come on. You should have a panel and talk about I'll be looking for people that's doing fun panels at night. I want to come on somebody's panel and talk. Especially at night when I can just pop my computer out and you don't, if it's a dark panel where you don't have to see me, you can just hear me. Cause I know Tina be on. Tina be on late at night, y'all. Tina be up at night. Tina be doing them videos. I be watching you. I just don't always say anything because I'm like laying down watching. Okay, KK. I'm getting ready to go too, y'all. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm not really sure what we're going to talk about tomorrow, but we're going to talk about something. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love y'all. I'll see you later. Bye. Love you. Bye.